Good evening. Welcome to United Real Therapy Army. Where are ya? Last be having ya. Prayers for those people mourning. Prayers always for the people that are mourning. Big up everybody. How are we doing? Petition to make my yeah, Stevie. Nah, I never want to be king, my friend. I never want to be king. Football's outside the Prem. Martial was on point. We're going to get into it, people. We've got a lot of things to discuss tonight. Tom, if you're in the... I've sent you the link, so please jump on. So many things to discuss tonight. So many talking points, people. So many talking points. Obviously, starting with that Antonio Martial. Obviously, he's been speaking to the French football, and we'll get into some of the things he said. You don't really hear from him that often. He's one of those quite recluse kind of like footballers. He's quite private. He's quite just chilled. And he don't really talk. He don't give that many press conferences or anything like that. So big up everybody. Love and light. Here we go. Tomo. How you doing, Tomo, lad? How are you?
Hola. How we doing?
Hola.
Hola.
Hola,
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Si.
How we doing? We all right?
Yeah, man, we're doing
so
good.
many things to get into tonight, man, obviously. And then, obviously, I don't know if you saw the Forbes article, but briefly, just saying about the Glazers. So I'm just like, there's no smoke without fire, is it? Or is it just me injecting propaganda, anti-Glazer propaganda into my veins?
Nah, man. It's always media, though, innit? Put it that way.
Yeah, but I just feel like sometimes, Tom, there's no fire without, you know what I mean?
There's no smoke without fire.
Smoke,
yeah, there's no smoke without fire. I was saying good,
no smoke without fire, man. So it's going to be very interesting. But yeah, did you see the Anthony Martial quotes as well?
I've heard about them. I've not actually seen them. What were they about?
Yeah. He basically gave an interview to French football, talking about his time and about his injury record and what happened behind the scenes, which is quite interesting and refreshing in some sort. But yeah, please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, people. Because here we are with our Tommy. We're going behind the headlines. We'll always go behind the headlines, people, and try to get you a bit of that nuanced, in-depth analysis of what's going on with Man United. So yeah, he spoke about all three managers. He's actually spoke about LVG. He's spoken about Oli. He's spoken about Jose, and all of the different questions that are a bit unanswered in terms of from his side. And at the end of the day, this is from his side. So it's been a very interesting. But other than that, how's your day? How's lovely Spania? The weather has turned here, Tom. It's turned. We're in bloody autumn, late. Autumn is here, mate.
Autumn's here. No heat waves anymore, I guess.
Yeah, no heat waves. Winter's coming soon as well.
Winter's coming.
Winter's coming, mate.
Weather, everything's good out here, man. All good.
Yeah. Winter's coming, man. Winter's coming. Yo, for people, man, this is one of my brethren, Nadim's stuff. So if you really want to check some of it out, if you like it, if you like the cap, if you like the top, then go and support. This is his clothing line. He wants to get, getting off the ground. So please go and support. I'll give you a discount code. If any of you guys want to order some as well, I'll post it. I shall post it. So yeah, big up. Big up to you all. Big up to you all. That's what I say. But Tom, lovely weather in Spania.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, always.
The beer is going down lovely.
Of course. Fridge is empty. Listen, me and the people I'm living with for right now, man, we've raided everything. we drunk the bar dry last night.
The local. Are you known?
Local.
By the way, people, Tom's known out there, doing it, representing like a typical Brit abroad, innit? I'll have another one, mate. I'll have another one.
It's on the house.
Big up to you, Tom, man.
No problems there.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So we need to... Can anybody please... We haven't got Khalees on here tonight, but can any of you... Yeah, man, come through, man. Come through. Vaz, I've sent you the link. If you want to come through, come through. But guys, if any of you, Alien Tenno, Splashnet, if any of you want to grab what Martial has said the interviews gave, it's on one of the big Twitter aggregates. It's on there. If you want to get it up here, it'll
you
be
can get like
amazing.
the threads, can't you?
Maybe I can do it. Maybe I can do it. Let's see. Let's be having you. Let's be having your therapy army. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Eh? Subscribe to that channel if you're not already subscribed, kid.
Do you know what's funny though, Nuruddin? When you see stuff that comes out like this, they couldn't do it at the time, but after 2-3 years, when they've got no obligations to say anything, they just open the mouth, don't they? I'm sat about me with a beer and the popcorn for in 2-3 years' time. Me when Ralph starts opening it, that's the big one for me. When Ralph Ragnick opens his mouth, if we've still got these owners as well, because man, he will absolutely destroy any sentimental value that these owners have in themselves or their organisation that they operate with. Because come on, like you're hearing it from players such as Martial's come out and done an interview. Anthony did it a couple of weeks ago, didn't he, when he went on strike at Ajax, where he did the interview with journalists and everything about how he wanted to leave the football club and that. This is becoming more of a transparent thing, I think, anyway, in the modern day of football. Players are doing major interviews, which are obviously causing controversy. Lukaku did it. I think that was a big one, really, for me. Lukaku with the Chelsea one. Middle of a season, and you say that you've made a mistake and that you wish you'd have never come and stuff like that, and you're in the middle of a campaign and stuff, a major football club. Like, and you get, I don't know how much, you get so much money, paid and everything, but listen, there's loads of people that want to drop nukes on our old managers or our old players and everything like that. And that, I think, like I said, the main one for me is going to be Ralph, because he's going to drop World War III, mate, on these people. I will.
Well, apparently he already spoke a little bit. He spoke a little bit, and he basically said,
"Yeah, but someone's going to do like a podcast with him or something, Nuruddin. You'll get an hour out of them."
Yeah, he basically said kind of like when he heard Man United were linked with Anatovic, he thought it was somebody taking the mick.
Well, he recommended Alvarez, who went to Man City in the end in January, and they didn't buy him.
Yeah.
And then you go from Alvarez to what? Arnautovic.
Exactly.
Just see the levels of different philosophy of recruitment in football. But anyway, what were you thinking anyway, Nuruddin, with Martial? Do you think it's a right thing to do in the modern day when you open your mouth?
Because he took a lot of flack in it. A lot of people have said this guy is a waste of space,
lazy, and
lazy. A lot of people scapegoated him. Even for me, I was originally one of the Martial, Martial FC, but I was just like, because I like the player, he's not performed, and I just remember him missing sitters and missing chances and not being fit and not moving, not taking players on. So I got slight cold, people. So yeah, but to get his side of the story is fascinating. So let's get into it, people. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into this. I just want to get his side and see if everything that we've been saying is this about everything that we've been saying. So, right, let me go up. Let me do it from the top upwards. So just bear with me, guys. I'll keep putting it in. Antonio Martial. It is a bit of a lengthy interview he gives, so it's interesting. We need to stagnate it a little bit. Right, here we go. Let's grab that first one first. Let's put it into the chat. There you go. So the first one is this. Big up to every one of you. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, people. Become part of the community. So here we go. We'll go into this one. Anthony Martial. Once Van Gaal made me come and watch videos to set me on fire when I had scored 2 goals, he wanted to talk to me about running angles, movement zones, and I understood. And he said he liked my character. So this is about his first. This is about Van Gaal. Like Van Gaal, he liked Van Gaal. Van Gaal liked him. You know what I mean? It was all love between those two. So that is what it was. But Tom, what do you read into that? I had a great list. Yeah. So he's basically saying, and then this bit here as well. He says here. 1 second. What do you think to that statement, Tom?
I think it's expected, isn't it? Because let's put it this way: I don't think he was going to, out of all the managers, I don't think he was going to throw Van Gaal under the bus as much because he was the man who brought him here, did he not? And he gave him the opportunity. We spent, well, as the song goes, £50 million, well in excess of £50 million on him to bring him from Monaco, didn't we? So it was his player, but. You get I think you get this with a lot of Dutch managers. I think Dutch managers, especially, where they're very man methodical, as I like to call it. They're like a good relationship with players and the right kind of players. You know, you've seen it with Ten Hag now, where it's not a case of he has favourites. He wants to get along with everybody, regardless of if they're playing or not. Eric Bailly's comments were, I thought spoke volumes. Ten Hag wanted me to stay, but I wanted a new challenge and stuff. And we knew Eric Bailly wasn't going to play many games through injury and stuff like that, but he still wanted him in the group. He was a personality to have around. But I think the Martial that came to the football club and the Martial that we have right now, you can see that there is a difference there. You know, with the, he used to want, love running at people and, giving people a hard chase, chasing, long balls, etc. Direct passes like Van Gaal was talking about with videos of angles and movement patterns and zones. That's what you call proper, elite level of coaching. And we haven't had that since Louis van Gaal was at the football club. But anyway, go on. Read Zane's comment here. Let's hear this. Zamiassi.
You do it, Tom.
I'll do it. Okay. Zamiassi's coming in with a super chat. He's emerged from the oil rigs, it would seem. If Wenger was here, he would have turned Martial into a world-class player like the other French players. He would join the Arteta revolution, United English bias, always playing Rashford, who's average. Listen, Zamiassi, man, you don't have this French revolution anymore. I'm hearing Brazil's front three. They didn't even make the Brazil squad, did they? So I don't want to hear it, man. They didn't even make the Brazil squad.
How many times has Zamiassi coming here telling me,
the trio, Brazil's new emergents.
Listen,
none of them made the squad.
Listen, the Brazilian manager and all you Gabbies have a rest. Gabby at the back. Gabby with the craziest hairline, bigger hairline than me. Gabby, he said we don't need Jesus for this one. Even Jesus can take a seat. Big up, I say Miasi. Say Miasi, who would have known? Who would have known if Wenger would have got Martial? Maybe he would have turned him into a better player. But Martial continues, says, I had a great relationship with Louis van Gaal. The first season, I love to learn. And with a gentleman like him, it takes time to make me takes the time to make me watch videos of my matches and explain things going. Yeah, so that's what he says. The best. So that's what he talks about. He and then he comes on to, I think, Jose. They start asking him about Jose. And he says, Van Gaal, Anthony Martial, Mourinho. This is where it comes about Mourinho. This is why he talks about Mourinho. So let's get into it, people. Big up to every one of you again.
Yeah, big up, man.
Like, it's over 100 of you in here.
Yeah, I love.
Like, people, smash that like.
Smash the like button, people. Yeah.
Yeah. So he basically says Mourinho was talking about me in the press. He likes these games, but also knows who he is, who's doing it with. He knows that I'm only 20 years old. Then if I say something, it will all pass for the young person who lacks the respect. Wow. He's thinking about this deep, innit? Deep, man. What do you say to that, Tom?
If I'm the player, I'm thinking, well, I weren't your choice of a player anyway, was I? Really? Yeah. I was bought by the previous guy, not you. So you think what you want into it, but this, I think, a lot of people could see. Mourinho, he didn't like players like Martial because I know one summer, an early build called Ivan Perisic was Mourinho's main wide player target that he wanted, and they didn't get him, and he was stuck with who? Anthony Martial, who didn't perform because he didn't get the games because Mourinho thought, oh, right, cool. If I can't go down the road with Martial, oh, I've got Marcus Rashford, and then in that sort of period anyway, that's where we didn't have an out-on-out number 9 when Zlatan came for that one season, and then he moved on, obviously, didn't he? We didn't have an out-and-out number 9. Wayne Rooney retired, or he dropped into midfield, etc., and stuff like that. So we didn't have somebody to play the 9 role. And Martial obviously was converted to play there, even though he was a wide player. And he's done all this. I would call it. He's done all this bulking up and everything like that, because he's not as frail as he was when he had the quick lightningness on the left hand side. He's bulked up a bit, where you hold the ball up and you play like a target man almost. I call it in a way a backboard, like you do in basketball, playing it straight back to the midfield area, and then you take on the runs behind. But if you're Anthony Martial, you have the right to express how you feel. If he didn't, if Mourinho didn't feel Martial, that's okay. It wasn't his player, and vice versa from Martial's side, he wasn't Mourinho's player either. But listen, I still think you should integrate players. You give them a chance at least, minimum.
Facts, 100%, Tom. You've got to get people on side. You have to get people on side. Like, you have to get people on side for me. It's the biggest thing in a dressing room. Even though the players are not, you have to, that's why you're the manager. You've got to try to get the best out of them and understand the psychology of each player, understand how to get the best out of them. And that, for me, is where it is. When I think about Martial, I just think about, it makes me really feel sad, because you know the worst thing, I'm not going to lie to them, how many times have I said, we could clearly see it, all of us, a lot of us talked about it, a lot of us said the mismanagement and the coaching.
Yeah, the coaching, yeah.
Both him and Rashford, like their careers, their growth spurt has been stunted,
absolutely,
in terms of football. So
absolutely,
yeah, it's like, what the hell? Like, we could see this. I could see it clearly. Like, he couldn't sprint. I remember thinking, why are you not? I remember me screaming when I was at the stadium, take somebody, or what are you doing? Why are you passing the ball back? Run at him. And him just looking at the fans, looking at the floor. I remember that. I remember honestly being in the stadium going, what's wrong with this guy? What's happened to him? This is the guy that every opportunity, where they lost the ball or not, used to take people on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was almost as if there was just that lack of a threat going forward again, and there didn't really seem to be any urgency in his game, and that can be down to lack of game time or the quality of coaching. But with Mourinho, especially, I can't remember the coach's name exactly. It was the Portuguese guy. It was his assistant. Luis Faria, that's his name. As soon as he left the ship, the whole fucking coaching of our team went. The shape, the cohesion, the defensive shape, everything of it sunk completely in the season when he wasn't there. And he promoted Carrick, didn't he, to assistant? And we obviously saw how the team was, well, with Carrick, with Mourinho, and with Carrick, with Ole. There wasn't a cohesion there. There wasn't a plan. It was go out there, express yourself, good vibes. And if there is no vibes to be playing off the hymn sheet, what you going to be playing? A broken track. And then we became what? A broken record and a broken football club. Because we didn't have any attacking output, because we burnt out our players in attack, and at the back we didn't have any organisation. So what was there really left? Nothing, nothing at all. But anyway, these quotes are getting a bit interesting now, anyway, because they're going very specific and detailed.
Yeah. Hussein Miasi says The club sacked LVG.
No, it's YUFC. YFC.
Sorry, YUFC. Sorry, not saying me. I said YUFC. Big apologies. I apologize. The club sacked him for short-term success with Mourinho. So I don't blame Mourinho. He was brought in to win now, not to develop players. Well, that's what I'm saying to you. Where does this come from? Where does all these decisions go back to, people? Please, somebody give me the correct answer. Where does all of this go back to? The clowns. The owners. That's where it goes back to. There's 130 of you in here. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed.
Yeah, come on, big up, people.
Listen, YUFC, big up, bro. Thank you so much for the super chat. But hey, let's get into this. Let's get into some of these quotes here I've just posted, Tom. Let's get into it. So he deals with a lot of things. Honestly, it's quite in depth, and he's really in, what he is about as a person. You can tell he's quite a thinker. He's not he doesn't come across any mature. He's quite reflective, and you can tell that he wanted to say this. He really had to get this off his chest, because these are not like throwaway comments. These are like well thought out.
These aren't coins. These are grenades that he's throwing here.
Yeah.
They're whoppers.
But also, like, he's speaking his truth.
Facts,
these are things that he's speaking his truth and talking about it. So he says here, look, Jose, he goes, Mourinho, he was talking about in the press. He likes these games, but I also know who he's doing it with. He knows that I'm 20-year-old and old, and that is, if I say something, it will pass on to say, oh, it's the young guys, disrespect. He goes on and says, Jose Mourinho started with a story of the number. During the holidays, he sends me a message to ask me if I want to take number 11. Explaining to you, it's a great number because of his legend Ryan. My guy is like telling like some Jackie Hardy stories. And then he goes like that. He goes, I told him that I have the greater respect for Giggs, but I prefer to keep my number 9. When I return the club, I see the jersey. I see my jersey with the number 11. And the story did not start well.
Oh, man.
He disrespected me. It's a disrespect. That's what he did. He's supposed to talk people, innit? Really talk to them and to find out about things. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that.
Wow. Talking never does anything at our football club, does it? That's one thing I've learned anyway. When you talk, the ship just sinks. Almost. Ralph proved that, did he not? And listen, Martial is coming out with all these quotes, and these aren't I don't these aren't dud bullets. These are real bullets that he's coming out with here. He's got this. We're not playing paintball. We're playing Call of Duty here. Some of these quotes that he's coming out with, they're straight going into people and in on these coaches. And listen, this will speak volumes of certain coaches potentially in the future. When you have ex-players who have been coached by you coming out with statements and comments like this. Because like he's just said here, where he's come back, he was away on holiday with his family and stuff. The gaffer sends him a message and says, do you want the shirt? If Mourinho was going to give him the number 11 shirt anyway, why even question him? Or why even ask him? If you were just going to give him it anyway, just give him it then. Don't even bother asking. Because what? Martial said no, and then what? You give him it anyway. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me anyway. Because at the time, who did we even bring in? Who was a number 9, Nuruddin? What was Zlatan for one season? And then when he upped and left, what? You could have easily given the shirt back to Martial if you wanted to, and give him the number 9. There wasn't a main outball for it. Like with the Ronaldo one when he come back, and Cavani obviously gave the shirt up. You could understand that because CR7, it's the brand. It's the monetization in the mega store. All the shirts, CR7, Ronaldo, number 7 on the back. It makes money and it trends. With Martial, did it really matter if he changed shirt numbers, Nuruddin? The only thing that matters is if he changes position. And that's what Mourinho did. He put him back out wide again to play the wide role because a number 11 is what? A wide shirted position. Not a number 9. A number 9 is what? Through the middle. Like he was doing with LVG, because what? Like I always go back to the same point. We didn't have a fucking number 9 then. And that is why Martial was converted to play that role, because we didn't have the finances, according to form anyway, to go out there and buy a number 9. But we always go for these short-term options when you could have got Erling Haaland for £25 million out of Salzburg, and then he's gone to your greatest rivals, and he's probably one of the best number 9s in the world now. And they've got him locked in a contract for, what, 5 years? Listen, and like you say, Ralph even came the whopper. That Alvarez deal, it was a steal. I'm sorry, £17 million for Argentina, for one of Argentina's greatest ever striking prospects, up there with comparisons of the likes of your Agueros, potentially even going as far as making the national team for the World Cup. And he doesn't even start that many games at Manchester City, Nuruddin. Doesn't even start that many games. But he gets recommendation because what? He plays next to who? Erling Haaland, who's one of the best number 9s out there. But this is our football club, isn't it? And like you say, Martial, if he wants to make these comments and come out with it and everything, I'm all ears for it. I'm here for it, because you know what? We don't hear enough of truth at this football club. Everybody has their own assumptions, but until people actually come out with hardcore facts, like Martial is coming out with, and saying it as it is, this is what we need. The clarity of what is actually going on. Because we've heard it from managers, now we're hearing it from ex-players, now we're hearing it from the current players. So you're getting an opinion of every single person. And you know the thing that comes it all together, all of the therapy army, is what? They are all saying the fucking same thing. They are all pointing the finger at what? The organisation. Because why? It's not a football club. It's a business. See, if we were a football club, we'd be competing for trophies, not for commercial espionage. And that is the difference of our football club. But anyway, Nuruddin, go on. We need to move on to some of these other quotes. What's some of the other ones, anyway? You're on mute, Nuruddin. You're on mute, man.
Just doing something, Tom. But yeah, 1 second.
Yeah. No problems. I'll go through some of them if you want. Give me a second.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I've got it here.
All right, no problems.
And then he goes on to say, so for me, now, Tom, this is where I disagree with you slightly, right? So you know, a lot of footballers are superstitious. Numbers mean a lot to a lot of footballers. Some footballers, numbers mean nothing to them at all. They'll play in any number, you know what I mean? They just want to play, right? There are certain footballers who are so superstitious, numbers mean something to them. Numbers mean something to them in terms of even marketing, in terms of look, like for example, like Paulings was superstitious. He will never put his top on just before, you know, when they players down the tunnel. That's when he'll put his top on. He never put his top on in the change room and walk out. So numbers mean something to a lot of people. Remember, Antonio Valencia got the number 7 shirt. Was like, whoa, get me out of here. I don't want this shirt. And then I don't know where he became 18 or 20, some 21 or 25, something like that.
25, yeah.
Yeah, the same number that he was wearing at Wigan. So numbers mean something to players. Numbers, certain players are superstitious, religious, like they have certain affinity with certain numbers. And people are, like, there are people who are into numbers as well. So anyway, he says, I'm not irreproachable. When people say I lack consistency, it's true. When I have my place, it often goes well. But when I've been used less, it's true that my performance have not been the same. So look, he's self-reflecting here. That's him self-reflecting. He's basically saying, hey, this is, I can't just blame these managers. It's also about me. And then he goes on to say, it's a vicious circle. Big up Vas. Yes, Vas, welcome to the stream, brother. How you doing?
How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's well. Hope Therapy Army are doing well. Hope you're doing well.
Bro, we're getting into it, bro. We're getting into it.
I'm ready to get into it as well.
So he says, it's a vicious circle. I'm less efficient because I play less, therefore I play even less. When it's like that, I can't sometimes drop out a bit. A player like Edison Cavani, he's 300% even when he's giving few minutes. So he's talking about, he's been, what can I say, very reflective, and he's seen that how other professionals are doing it. And then he says here, a lot of people think you have to be a comedian. And I see players who show their rage so that the public and the media think they're motivated. all the media circus does not interest me. I cannot change to please others, right? So let's go through that one there. So basically, he's saying here, I'm not approachable. When people say I lack consistency, it's true. He goes on to say it's true, right? And of course, all of these things is everything what we could see. But instead of the United fans understanding that Ollie did not have a clue because he's playing players injured, right? Pogba, Martial, Rashford played with so many injuries, and you remember the outburst after. Some of you remember the outburst after the what was it? After the what game was it? What game was it where people came out? No, after the Europa League final, Rashford comes out and says, I'm playing with this injury, that injury, and there's 6-7 players who are playing with injuries, and that alarm's going off. And then the club then give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a new contract.
Yeah, before the final, yeah.
Have been burnt out. We were screaming there. Fred was injured, obviously. Donny to get on the pitch. We were like, some of these players look shattered. Some of these players are not playing like themselves. Some of these players are picking up knocks. Why are you not taking them off? In 120 minutes, he made one or two substitutions, right? So this is an indictment. This is the real time. We're going through the timeline, people. We're going through the timeline. And then, so he further then reflects on this and says, it's a vicious circle. Of course, I'm not as motivated. And this is a human. Footballers are human beings. If you don't feel like you're part of it, especially young players, if you don't feel like you're part of it, you're part of the you've got a strong dressing room, and like somebody like Roy Keane or Mark Hughes or Steve Bruce or Gary Neville or Giggs is getting hold of them, or Mourinho saying to them, listen, this manager might not like you, manager don't like me, but you're playing for the shirt, let's do it, right? So it's very telling and very interesting. What Martial is saying, a lot of it is true because we saw it in real time. I used to go and sit sometimes, we used to call it the golden seats with Erwin, yeah? Erwin used to do videos with. And I would be always looking at Rashford doing this, aching, wincing, and then him try to run. And then I remember specifically about Martial. Martial getting the ball out wide. Next minute, he's passing the ball back into central midfield. And we're like, Martial, what's wrong? Take the guy on. Take it on. But Baz, talk to me. Because you are like me. A lot of the times you were Martial FC, if there wasn't such a thing. But then you got frustrated with him and you were like, I'm done with this guy. What has the revelations that's come out in the last couple of days, what has he said? Of course, this is this kid telling his truth, speaking from his side. He spoke about all three managers, and he's specifically speaking about here, the injuries that he suffered. So what have you made of it?
Right. Firstly, big up everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope the therapy army are keeping well. No football, but no problem. We've got Mr. Structure providing you the content. So yeah, big up everyone. Listen, first thing first. Ole needs to come on the stand. Everything is connected to Ole. Every freaking agenda, everything is connected to Ole. Second thing, why is the guy doing the interview now? Why is the interview coming out now? Season has started. Why didn't you do it before the season started? Why didn't you do it when Ralf Rangnick left? Why didn't you do it when Erik ten Hag just put pen to paper? Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it now? I want to understand the justification to doing it now. The fact is, Mr. Structure and listeners and viewers, the fact is the season started. The fact is, preseason, he did some bits. The fact is, he got injured then. The fact is, he came back to Liverpool game, had a stretched his calves, got injured. These are facts. You cannot take that away from, you cannot hold Ole accountable. You can't hold Van Gaal. You can't hold Mourinho. You can't hold nobody accountable for that. You can't hold nobody accountable for that. Now, moving on, the guy said there was a lack of respect from Mourinho because of the shirt number, right? Mr. Structure, this kid is worried about the wrong number. Worry about the numbers on the goals and the assists. How many times in the world of football has a player said, the manager benches me because he doesn't like me? So, hoo-ha. Big deal, man. Big deal, man. Prove your worth. Wayne Rooney did not demand respect. He earned it. Van Nistelrooy earned his respect. Cristiano Ronaldo, when the teammates wanted him gone out of Manchester United, he earned his respect. Respect is earned, never given. Why is this kid now injured, making all this hoo-ha? And guess what, Anthony Martial? Well done, because now you've created a ceiling of expectation that when you are fit, you better give me 15 to 20 goals. You better give me 10 plus assists, because now you ain't got no one to blame. Who are you going to blame now? You're in the club. Leeds game is coming. Palace game is coming. Europa League game is coming. We are in the mud, man. You are in bed. We are in the mud. You had family issues. We are in the mud. Ain't nobody's problem when it was your family issues and you're upset. Nobody's the clown then, Anthony Martial. And guess what, Mr. Structure and listeners? Medical staff have failed Manchester United. Medical staff, I repeat, have failed Manchester United. The Glazers need, or whoever is in charge, I hope Ten Hag can find it in him and sack the medical department. Sack them. Reference. I keep going around and giving reference on all these platforms. Reference. Jose Mourinho, All or Nothing, Tottenham Hotspur, Heung-min Son. Please go and do your reference research. Mourinho goes to the medical team. I need Son desperately, please. I need points. This is my crucial player. The medical guy in that episode goes to Mourinho. Mourinho, his arm, his something is still not right. If I sign this player off and the PL or the FA find out, I will get sacked. That's on record on a show that you guys watch. So Anthony Martial was signed off. Fit enough to play. Okay, maybe he was 45, 65. Maybe I can only give you 45%. I can give you 50%. That was the manager. But Mr. Structure and the listeners, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line between it was Ole's fault and it was Martial's fault? Where do we draw the line? Because Cavani said, hey, please, por favor. No hable, please. No, por favor. No, I can't do this. I'm not going to risk my life for you chicken boys coming sixth. Cavani said it. Martial sacrificed himself, had the best season under Ole, and now he's saying it's Ole's fault. What can you do now at this point?
The biggest thing is this. The last 2 seasons, I've regularly played injured. People don't know I couldn't accelerate during the...
One last thing, Mr. Structure. Hold on. One last thing, Mr. Structure.
Solskjaer told me he needed me, so I played. Now, before you go, Baz, I'm going to back this up. There are various interviews with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talking about robustness. These players need to be robust. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking like he played in the 90s. Football has moved on. All due respect, football has moved on, right?
Yep.
He needed to let go of that, and he didn't understand modern football. And on this channel, Vaz, you don't ever have to talk about the injury and rehab team because I've overdone it on this channel. I've been talking about that. I've been talking about how they can sign players like Pogba. Next one game he plays against Rochdale, next minute he's out for 3-4 months. And then Pogba then has to get different advice from private healthcare to go and get a specialist to talk about the injuries got and then to have an operation where Ole and the club are like, no. So listen, fish always rots from the head, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is directly to blame. And what collaborates Martial's statement is Rashford talking at the end of the Europa League final. That is what collaborates this. That's why this is true, because it showed Bruno was being played into the ground. We were all here. We all saw those games. We're like, why? Why are these guys getting blamed every game where we got players on the bench to play them? Why? And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and both Jose Mourinho. Remember, Jose Mourinho used to have 2 policies: Martial or Rashford. One will start, one will come off the bench, and both of them were keeping him in a job, especially when they were under pressure. Especially when he's under pressure. So this is going on internally, right? Disrespect. Certain players, fast. Lucky number means a lot to them. certain numbers, certain footballers are superstitious. We might not agree with it, but they are. Certain numbers make them feel like wow, monsters.
Yep.
Numbers have too much pressure on them. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So for me, this to me is one of the most fascinating things for me to say. And the reason why, I don't know, it'd be really interesting to find out when the interview was given. When did he do this interview? Because certain times, publications, right, you will give an interview and they'll bring it out 3-4 months later. Same thing with Lukaku. Lukaku gave an interview, right? It was brought out well into that time. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They will always wait for the opportunity. Let me just get this. Give him my game. I can't accelerate because it's very complicated, and I get set on fire. The coach never bothered to tell the media. Obviously, I end up getting injured too heavily, and when I come back, finished, I don't play anymore. Right? It took me. He says I took it very badly. I had the feeling of injustice. You have to sacrifice yourself for the team, and behind your dismiss. For me, it's almost treachery. Wow, that's a big word. That's all the hate. I can be blamed, but it's not for being fake, right? This is what he's talking about. And then he goes to say, I was the team's top scorer in the first season. Jose Mourinho bought Alexis Sanchez, and I hardly played anymore. Mourinho says, cost me dearly. I should have been there at the World Cup.
He's got a grudge against Mourinho buying Sanchez and not letting him play because same time he couldn't go to the World Cup. But I understand that the medical team failed him. You said it yourself. Ryan Giggs changed his diet, no? These men changed their lifestyle. Where do you draw the line between the manager's fault, medical fault, and the player fault? Everybody has to be...
Listen. No, of course. And that's what I said. If you've been watching any of my latest streams, I've been on here talking about Martial saying, same with Rafael Varane. There's a certain level in the footballer. When you get to a certain age, you have got to watch what you eat, your sleep, what you drink, how you look after yourself outside of the football. So it's partly the injury and rehab, partly on you, and partly on the football club as well, and the diet. Now, Ryan Giggs and Roy Keane were going to Italy to do these incredibly ridiculous diets. Ryan Giggs stopped driving Ferraris, stopped driving Lamborghinis, Porsches, because all of the hamstring. He then did Pilates, yoga, all of these different things, doing loads of pool work. You know, the pool in the pool, loads of pool, warm, hot pool, doing all these exercises, right?
Water aerobics, yeah.
Yes, water aerobics. So that is the result. Now, I said the same thing about Varane and Martial. It's on them now. But here, let me just get this. Why UFC says, the club sacrificed short-term success with Mourinho. I don't blame Mourinho. He was bought to win. I already did that. That's a bit weird. Have I already?
Yeah, you've already read that one out. Yeah.
Okay, you bought another one. Sorry. Why are people acting like we've had the squad of Man City? Under Oli, barely had any squad of depth. What is he supposed to do? No, I understand that. That's the point I wanted because we want to have a balanced conversation. So big up YUFC.
But we never get some of the players that you bought though. Like I've never seen this. I always understand this. With every player you buy, you have a plan around a player, or you have a development progress around a player. Because Ahmad, for example, and Palestra, I think are the two most easiest options that you can use to explain the frailties of our development plan or recruitment policy. Because we've paid, I think in total, probably about 40 million for both of them together. That's a midfielder that we could buy for that money. You bought two young players who all you have done in the last couple of years is what? Send out on no-man loans where it's not worked out or it's not been the right club. If you want to loan a player, that's all well and good. Put them in a league that is actually competitive, not the Scottish Premiership. That is not a competitive league to develop a player. You need to be playing these players either in the Championship or you need to be at a mid-level Premier League club, if you can. Likes of a Crystal Palace, a Southampton, a proper developing club where they will work with what? Same players at same level of abilities and development capabilities. That is exactly the reason. And the big one for me, and this I don't know what it is because I think it's a gimmick now. It's not a myth anymore. It is a gimmick. It's Donny van der Beek. My God, we bought this guy for what? 3 years ago now, nearly. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted who? Jack Grealish. I don't care what anybody says. He wanted Jack Grealish more than he wanted Donny van der Beek. And the club were priced out of the deal because they got panicky when Aston Villa said 120 million. And then the following season, he goes to Man City for 100 million. But, that's by the by, Donny van der Beek's development plan has been what? Sit on the bench. That's been his development plan, has it? No minutes at all, no performance time, no games, no nothing. Sit on the bench. That's been it. Same with him, like I've just said with Madden Palestra. No development plans at all. Martial, when he came to this football club, his development plan was what? A wide player. He's a wide player. He's a number 9. He's an attacking midfielder. He's in everything now. He's played multiple positions. There isn't a designated position for him. Just like with Rashford, is he a wide player? Is he a centre forward? What is the plan for these players? I think we have our opinions of what they should be. I think Martial for me is a wide player. For me, I think Rashford is a wide player. I don't think we have an out and out number 9 at this football club, apart from Ronaldo. But you need the age. You need somebody who is a lot younger of an age who you can take forward and develop. And for me, we missed the boat. We've missed the boat twice on 2 young forwards in the last 4 years who have gone where? To the most progressive football club in the world, Manchester fucking City. Because we missed out on Erling Haaland when he was at Salzburg, and we missed out on Julian Alvarez when he was in the club in Argentina at River Plate.
I'll go one further. We missed out on Haaland because they didn't understand Central European time when he was in bloody Norway. When he was in Molde, we missed out on him. But listen, Windy Grant said it's here, the definition robust, strong, and healthy. No, he didn't mean it like that, Windy. He didn't mean it like that. He meant as robust, that these have to grow up and they have to play with injuries and they have to get out there and die for the shit. That's what he meant. He didn't mean it in that way. Big up, Tom. I hope you can come back. But Vaz, you got a bit of crisp on your top there, bro. Big up. It looks nice, though, with the colours. It looks nice. Big up, bro. The biggest thing is this. I understand. To me, like I said, with this interview now, I agree with you on this. Martial's got nowhere to hide. We already saw Varane was injury prone throughout what would you say? Throughout last bit of the Man United career last season and throughout the preseason. Already, a plan was developed for him with Erik ten Hag and the other coaches for him to be able to play. I don't mean I'm not going to get players get injured. You need a squad. And I also agree with the brother that made the comment before. I think what YUFC says, what was Ole supposed to do? Ole's supposed to protect the younger players, especially those who got bright future, because if you overplay them with injuries, they're never going to be fit. And you're asking them to take injections, that's going to have a bad effect on their system and the future of them getting games. So he's done the interview now. This has now, you can see already, Ten Hag's not rushing him back. They rushed him back a bit against no, he didn't rush him back. He recovered from the injury, which was a hamstring muscle thigh. It was a thigh strain and a hamstring, little pull on the hamstring, right? Bring him back for Liverpool. He does brilliant in that game. He sets up the goal for Marcus Rashford. Who would have known if Liverpool would have scored? It would have been a different game. Nobody would have known, right? But it gets us to secondly, psychologically damages Liverpool. Then, obviously, towards the end of that game, he gets the Achilles. Now, you can already see with Ten Hag, he's like, no, he's not available. I don't think he's going to be available till maybe October. I don't want him to come back and rush back. Go and whatever it is to cost to the club, go on, be fit. So when he's fit and firing, if he's not doing it, you can then criticize him 100%.
I think it's a while before he's fit, Mr. Structure, because he needs to get match fit as well. You know, by the time October comes, Mr. Structure, some of the players in the league are already firing. Defenders are already fired. Everybody's settled in. 90 minutes in the bank, week in, week out. Martial will be coming in again, fresh. The fact is, though, Mr. Structure, I don't understand why people can't see the fact. The fact is, he's had preseason. Ralph Ragnick's gone. Ole's gone. But he's been injured twice in a month and a half.
But you can't blame players getting injured, right? First of all, Achilles is something that you don't pull if somebody stands at the back of you. Usually it's a knock. The Achilles is a knock unless you do something, you twist or something, right? The other one was a hamstring, right? And because he's never pressed the way he's pressed with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Jose Mourinho, right? He's been pressing the way he's been pressing with Ten Hag, and Ten Hag wants the forwards to press. So obviously that's gonna take an impact. Remember when Klopp came in at Liverpool? A lot of players had a lot of muscular injuries because they couldn't understand this 100 miles an hour pressing. So these two injuries for me are like, one, Achilles is usually a knock. The other one is just because his body's not used to it. But go ahead. But what we have to do, I'm hoping and praying that he's realized these injuries. Ten Hag has realized that the injury and rehab team at Man United need a lot more expertise, specifically people in the ways of injury prevention. I'll say it again for you. There are specific things that players or footballers, top athletes in the world, football and other sport do. They got core building and they do specific types of training depending on the sport where they prevent injury. There's a specific type of training that you do to prevent injury. I am hoping and praying that Erik ten Hag, some of his team are those type of experts, because we've all agreed and said the injury and rehab people are not. They have to do a lot better. But the Glazers, we already know. You said your friend was there, Vas. That how the training ground is falling apart. Do you think they're gonna get the best experts of injury and rehab and injury prevention? Do you think they're gonna spend money, the Glazers?
No.
But I'm with you, and I've always said it. I blame the players as well. Take responsibility in your own health. Take responsibility on your own diet. Like Juan Bazaka, I'm seeing him around bloody these burger joints in Manchester, always with his friends, parked outside. I'm like, what are you doing, lad? What are you eating this crap food?
What can you do, Mr. Shakhtar? These footballers, they can spend their money how they want, but at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, Mr. Shakhtar, this story would have been ended by today, because we would have had another game if the Queen was alive. Rest in peace, the Queen. If the Queen was alive, we would have had another game today. People would be talking about Crystal Palace and not Martial. Because there's no football, the talk is going round in circle. Martial now, regardless of what I think, what you think,
by the way, it's not just Martial. It was Pogba, it was Rashford. Guys, It's over 200 of you in here. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. But go ahead, listen. It's not just him, and that's why their three stories of what happened to them make sense now. Ollie's robustness did not work, and then when he was given then a new contract, both him and Jose, when they're treating the players in this way, of course, not every footballer is treated like with the utmost respect. There are certain footballers who look at the manager and go, I'll show you. Rooney was one of them. Ryan Giggs was one of them. Unfortunately, they don't make them like Rooney and Giggs anymore. Mentally, they're not strong enough. They don't make those type of footballers. But we knew and understood from me, one of the most telling things, if any of you want to go back and watch that, Marcus Rashford's interview at the end. Now, Ollie did lots of great things. So it's not all just Ollie's fault. It's not. It's the club's fault, because he didn't trust any of the players. He didn't trust Lingard. He didn't trust Mata. He didn't trust Matic for a long time. He didn't trust Donny van de Beek. So there's 4 players there he could have brought in to interchange with a lot of the players that were injured. No, he kept playing the same 11, till something had to give, and Martial was a victim of that. Now, does that mean Martial, nothing he did other than his rosy? No. Martial, as he spoke about Rooney, as he spoke about Cavani, as he spoke about Ronaldo, has to learn from those top professionals and think, what can I take from these guys? But I want to come on to this, Vas, right? For the last 5 minutes, I really want to come on to the last 10 minutes, let's say. I'll get your last words, but what I want to ask you is that I keep seeing articles. Mark Ogden of the ESPN, a lengthy article. Big up Windy. Windy sent it to me, that article, long article. I'm talking about the Glazers. Forbes magazine is coming out now. Is there a smoke without fire? Is something happening with the Glazers? Finance-wise, they have to come up with $1 billion, Bas, and maybe $1.5 or $1.25 billion to redevelop Old Trafford and also to fix the training facilities, and then maybe get a stadium. it's no smoke without fire for me when all of these different publications are taking in turns to publish certain stories.
I think there is definitely something going on. Whether the Glazers will sell or not is the question, because they've just went and pulled out 240 million for the transfer window. I don't know if they're gonna sell, but I think there's definitely something going on, and with the months going on, we'll find out more. I think it'll be more detrimental. The information that you will find out is when we are looking like we are in top 4 or not. That's when we really find out. If Manchester United make top 4, Glazers don't sell at all. I don't think so. They're going to hold it on because they've got a manager who's just getting Dallo to perform, who's just getting Martial to perform, who's bought them a left back for 15 million, who's killing it. There's 7 players, Mr. Structure, 7 players who are out of contract next year. It's actually 10, but 3 of them are young boys, Twanzebe, a couple of others like that. The Phil Joneses and all them, they expired. So, Mr. Structure, I don't know what they're going to do, but you know me, I'm thinking they're not going to sell. But I wanted to ask you this question before. Forget what you think. Forget what I think. Even for the listeners, forget what you guys think. Martial's interview, Eric Bailly's interview, these interviews that are coming out, especially Martial's interview, put yourself in Mr. Ten Hag's shoes. What do you think he thinks?
Well, to me, I think Ten Hag thinks that had nothing to do with me because I can only talk about the way I'm treating these players right now. I 100% believe, this is my belief, my opinion only, people. I don't have any facts to back it up. Martial has spoken because now he has seen coaching staff and a manager that treats the players with a certain amount of respect. I actually think that that's the reason why he's done this interview. Because if this manager was regimented like Oli, I don't think he does this interview. I don't think he stays because the club put him up for sale anyway. Before Ten Hag stepped in, he was on for sale. Everybody knew he was he was enemy number 1. Everybody having a laugh, everybody taking a mick out of him. So that's what it would have been. It's interesting what Wendy's saying. Of course, it's human. When you're depressed, sometimes you use food. Of course, 100%. They're not robots. Footballers, what is funny here? Because we're not 100% perfect in all the things that we do in our lives as fans. And sometimes we demand too much. We expect footballers, because we're so passionate and so emotional, we expect them to become like robots and machines. They're not machines. They're not robots. At the end of the day, it's going to be, for me, he looks at it and says, wow, two things he can look at it, Ten Hag. Ooh, these guys are snakes. If something happens with me, they'll throw me under the bus. Or he'll take it as go, wow, those coaches didn't really know what they were doing with these players. And I'm here to get the best out of them. And I, with my man management and with my coaching, I can get the best out of them. So it depends what kind of human being.
Mr. Structure, also, don't forget, Lukaku blamed Man United's diet issues as well. Lukaku said the Italians figured his diet out and the Manchester United lot messed him up. Manchester United diet and medical staff need to go. They really need to go. They're killing our players. This manager needs Martial. This manager needs Varane. If Varane is one injury away from us being 10th this season, I swear to God, I can't see Luke Shaw. I can't see Harry Maguire. This manager is doing his best, and he needs the best facilities, the best people. I wonder, you know what, Mr. Structure, I really need to do some research on the medical department here because there's some common anomaly. Pogba, Martial, Rashford, Lukaku's diet.
Luke Shaw, Aaron Bissaka. Luke Shaw, Aaron Bissaka. And another thing as well, people, there were rumors about Harry Maguire playing while he's injured. That don't surprise me either. That don't surprise me that it caused him the lack of form as well. At the end of the day, we have to think about this. Of course, some of the mentality of these players when it comes to win is a good. I coined the phrase a long time ago. As a football club, from top to bottom, we're bottle job FC. We bottle it. When it comes to it, Man United bottle it because the club's not run like a football club. We're more run like a bank. That's what we're run like. But I've always said it, and people have said to me, "No, you don't know what you're talking about." Because I've watched enough football, Vas. I've watched enough football to understand if the medical department is not tight, if you haven't got every department is the top professionals in their profession, right? In that, then you're going to struggle. So you see the burnout of Bruno. You see Rashford burnout. You see Martial, 2 years. He was not the same player. And everybody said, bin this guy. Bin him. And that's the reason why he's done the interview. If you look at it, that's why he's done the interview. But when it comes to the Glazers, for me, I 100% believe, obviously, I'm always going to get that propaganda and inject it into my veins, people. Anywhere where the Glazers are going, inject it. Give me hope. Give me hope, people. But it just seems like there's too many publications that are all coming up with something. And like, I've not read it, but there's excerpts. My friend sent me parts of the excerpts of on an email of of Gary Neville's book. Now, I don't agree with everything Gary Neville says, but Gary Neville literally, because he's in that world, he runs a football club, he basically says something has to give. Because the promises they made with the stadium, the promises they made with the investment into the training ground, are they going to put the club in a billion debt? And they're going to have 1.5 billion debt for the club to go and borrow that money? No, they're not. Because I'm telling you now, Man United fans will go and camp out on that Old Trafford pitch if they did that. I guarantee that. I guarantee that. So
they did say they're looking for investors. Remember Murta Arnold saying he's looking for investors. So I don't know what they're actually going to do. There's talks about Apollo. There's talks about consortiums trying to buy Man United.
What have you heard, Vas? Come on, you're the man in the know. Listen, you're a man in the know. What have you heard? What have you heard through the grapevine? What are the rumors that you heard?
All I'm hearing is there was this thing with Apollo trying to buy certain percentage to raise money, right? The kids that want to sell their share, they were going to look to buy that share, but because of FFP, they can't buy. But there's something still going on there. It's not actually fully dead. The Glazers want to sell some of it. That's as far as I know. But they don't want to sell all of it. They do not want to sell all of it. It's going to be very, very hard to get them to sell all of it, especially when they just collected this new debt of 240 million for the transfer window. Next season is going to be very crucial, even more so than this season, because big names are walking out. Big Glazer names are. Luke Shaw is walking out. Ronaldo is walking out. David De Gea is walking out. Do you know Ronaldo and David De Gea alone make 58 million of our wages? 58 million of our wages.
Yeah.
So we have to see. Whoever wants to buy Man United, though, has to consider the debt they have to pay. So that might mean the Glazers want to sell for a little bit cheaper because of the debt that needs to, because they're taking over the debt as well. But all I can find out so far is they're just looking to sell a small percentage from the kids that want to sell, from their kids. They don't want to sell their own share. Mr. Glazer, Granddad Glazer, Avram, and Joel still want to be in control. So they've got Woodward there. Sorry, they've got Murta there and Arnold, who've been under Woodward before. They were training under Woodward. They're Woodward apprentice.
Yeah. You know what? It's crazy, Baz. It's crazy in some sense for me to think about the reason why it's, that figure that came out from Mike Keegan, where it was like 3.75 billion. It's because they own 69%. They own 69% of the shares. And that's for their shares. There's 31% owned by all these other. We talked about it on the last show when we had you on. But I'm going back to this because I'm thinking something needs to happen within the next season. But one thing we cannot do, people, is let up on the protests. Let up on the Glazer out protest, Glazers myself, online, targeting the sponsors. We cannot let up on these things. We cannot. Because from Martial speaking, you can tell the way this football club is run. You can tell the way this football club is run. The talented young players that we've had, now they're growth spurt. If Martial and Rashford were, let's say, in a very stable club, their talents, we would not know where their talents would be. By the way, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. it boosts the algorithms and it lets more people see the video. Because here we go behind the headlines. We don't go clickbait people. We go behind the headlines on this channel. We try to talk about things that matter to you all. So if you want other United fans to see this or other football fans, just smash a like. It costs you absolutely nothing. Nothing. Smash a like on the video. Honestly, somebody needs to. It's a TV special. That's what we talk about. Man United being a Netflix special comedy. It's a tragedy. It's drama. It's crazy.
I don't know how it could even be possible that a manager ran a player down whilst they're injured, and Rashford saying the same thing. The thing is, Mr. Structure, how many players play 100% fit nowadays?
No,
Not
that's
many.
what I'm saying to you. Yes,
but
little niggles. Majority of professional footballers, majority of them, or even majority of elite sports people, they always have little niggles. But it's about the little niggles. When Martial is telling you, Vas, he can't accelerate, and that's his game. His game is be able to dribble past people at pace. When he's saying to you he can't do that, but the managers are saying to him, you've got to play. And then when he gets the big injury, because what happens as well, because I did sports studies, people, when you have too many knocks that are like of the same, you're not fully fit, you don't go into challenges, then you get hurt. You get hurt. And that's what happened to him. And that's why he's fighting back in terms of the media. That's why he's fighting back, saying, same thing about what Jose Mourinho was saying about him in the press. He was saying, I'm a 20-year-old kid. Of course, the press are going to come for me and go, 20-year-old kid, listen, you need to show more respect, right? He's not a guy, Vas, that speaks to the media a lot. He doesn't do a lot of, like, after the game interviews. You see him, he doesn't. He keeps himself to himself. We already know. He's not a guy who's into monogamy and marriage. We know that. He's too young. The money come at him fast. And then he gets held up, then he gets bored, and he wants to, he thinks I need to another girlfriend, another wife maybe. So we know what his personal problems are to that extent. But he's not a guy, and his body language, so many people, so many ex-players, lazy pundits, because they can't have a go at Harry Maguire, or they can't go in too much on Rashford, or they can't go in too much. A lot of the British players will always scapegoat him and Pogba. They will always
at the end of the day, it feels like them. What I'm kind of feeling is he clearly has some sort of trust in Ten Hag.
Facts.
Because the interview has come out now based on his authorization, by the way. Because don't forget, when you give an interview, before they publish, they'll get the final sign-off. You can pull out and say, no, I don't want to publish it anymore. Me, the person being interviewed, I don't want it out. He has gone and authorized for this interview to come out now. That's fact. You cannot deny that. On top of that, the gaffer and him are having conversations. Everybody knows this. Of course, he's his player. He clearly trusts his manager, and the manager clearly trusts his ability for them to decide, no, it's fine. I'll manage you. I believe in you. I will get the best out of you. Because don't forget, Ten Hag wanted Eric Bailly to stay as well. He wanted him to stay as well, regardless of whatever. So he clearly knows what he's doing. Ten Hag is a proper manager. Ole just cared about getting the numbers on the board, and he ended up sacrificing the players. Ole damaged us for at least 7 years. His 2.5 years, whatever he had, 3 years, it damaged us for 7 years. The man had no clue, and the Glazers themselves had no clue. I'm glad that, you have to add 2 + 2 together, Mr. Structure. I'm glad Eric Bailly said, this man has character. This man has character. And the way Martial is drilling into Ole and the past, it can only mean one thing, that he has faith in this current manager. He has faith. He has to have faith. Because if that's not the case, we will eventually find out that Martial is going to leave. But I don't think Martial leaves. I think this man will keep Martial.
Well, listen, we're going to have to see.
Regardless of that, Mr. Structure, the fact remains is the interview, really and truly, Mr. Structure, it doesn't benefit anyone, does it? Not
no, but it's interesting for me to get an insight from a player that doesn't really talk to the media, that can't be accused of him being the the leak or whatever BS, that is actually giving, and it's really interesting. He didn't give the interview to British media. He gave it to French football, you know? And this is the translations that what we're getting. So it's really interesting. For me, it's interesting to hear from his side. For me, I think 3, 4, 5 things can be true at the same time. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finished third since Fergie. We scored more than 5 goals in so many games. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer do the coaching?
Do you think,
no.
But Mr. Structure, quickly, do you think Ten Hag authorized the interview?
Let me make the point. Did he do the coaching? No. Did he, at the end, was he lucky to have the job at Man United manager? Did the form sometimes go like this and then go like that? Yes. But, yes, we can give credit where he needs credit. But when it comes to this one, he's let the players, he's let Rashford down, he's let Pogba down, he's let Martial down. At the end of the day, playing these players while they're injured is not. And he can't just be on Oli. It was also on Jose. And like somebody said, I think YUFC said before, Jose was brought in to win now. We sacked LVG and brought in Jose. Jose was not here to develop any players, to coach any players. He was here to win now. And that, all of that goes back to where and who? The owners of the football club. That's where it goes back to. Everything, every problem goes back to who? The Glazers. And that's why we need to get rid of them, people. And they're running out of options. They don't have many options, I'm telling you. They either get the club in a debt for almost $1 billion to renovate the stadium and to fix the training ground. Or they have to sell.
Mr. Structure, do you think Ten Hag was aware of this interview before it came out? And he authorized it? Because Ronaldo interview not come out yet.
I 100% feel and think that the Man United media communication, he must have been made aware. You know how things work in football. If the players are international, if they say a few things, that's usually not authorized. The players are just talking about their club. It's usually in the mixed zone. There's usually like certain journalists who will go to the French camp, Italian camp, the English camp. Like people like Luke Shaw who was saying, yeah, actually, I enjoy coming to England more than I enjoy being at Man United. You know what I mean? Like him coming out saying stuff like that, right? Those are like just little quotes here and there, but a full-length interview where he's giving well thought out, some of it is nuanced, but also not holding back and telling it from his point of view, speaking his truth. I think it had to be authorized. It had to be authorized by Erik ten Hag. He always said, what did Erik ten Hag say? One of the rules was, don't go to your agents or media, come and see me. Yep.
Directly.
Yeah. So I think this one is been authorized, I think.
One of the reasons why Ronaldo's interview is not coming out.
Exactly.
Clearly, there was some sort of interview. Ronaldo's had just uploaded a picture with some psychologist or something.
Jordan Peterson, who's an absolute... Oh, man, don't get me started. Don't get me started. If Ronaldo's mixing with people like that, Jordan Peterson is nothing but a 2-bit narcissist who literally hates women. That's who he is. That's who he is. And if Ronaldo's mixing with that, I feel sorry for the woman in Ronaldo's life, because that guy is a weirdo. He's a weirdo.
Regardless of whatever, Mr. Structure, I just want to wish Anthony Martial all the best, because he needs to prove a point regardless. He's not at the best time.
No, wait, like I said, listen, Vas, I was saying, no more excuses for people like him and Rashford now and Sancho. They're working with elite coaches. They're working with elite coaches. Now, Michael Carrick might have been talented. Kieran McKenna might have been. They didn't have the experience. They didn't have the experience to go to Ole. Go, Ole, you can't play these players into the ground. You cannot.
What do you have to say, though, to people who are saying, you know, Mourinho got the results. He got us some silverware. He was right about lots of things. He was right about Luke Shaw. He was right about Pogba at times. What do you have to say to that?
Pogba was not a virus. He was totally wrong about Pogba. The disagreement between Pogba and Jose Mourinho happened in that 2-1 win, or was it 3-1 win away at Arsenal, where Pogba and Jose Mourinho had a disagreement, and Pogba then went and got himself a red card, because Pogba was like, we can't just sit back, we need to push up, we can get more goals. And Jose was telling him, no, we're doing a low block and we're doing counter-attacking. That's when the fallout happened. Before that, Pogba came back from the World Cup, didn't have any rest at all, played through injury, had the armband. It's always is. Jose always has to throw. If it was just in Man United, I would think, oh, okay. But you follow the track. Ramos, Casillas, you know what I mean? Chelsea, Hazard. Who else did he fall out with? So many of those players.
Juan Mata. He fell out with Juan Mata.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, everybody knows Jose. It's the honeymoon period. Jose then gets the complex. He then has to make himself, I'm not to blame, it's all of the players. And that's why he doesn't stay for too long unless he changes his mentality. But guys, big up to every one of you. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And please go and check out Planet Vaz all across social media on his YouTube channel as well. And make sure you also check out Tom Journalist 1 on Twitter. It's been a very interesting conversation tonight, people, because we like to go through the headlines. We like to go through bit by bit and the things what he said. There's another quote where he talks about Rooney, says Rooney is one of the best players he's ever played with, he's ever seen, he's ever played with. So to me, it wasn't a throwaway comments here and there. It was a proper sit down, well thought out, detailed, him try to give his side of the story. So it's going to be very interesting, very interesting. And like you said, Bas, so many players, 7 to 10, all coming up now, 2013, 2014, all of them winding down to be their careers. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Ten Hag does. Yep.
10 players, Mr. Structure, including Phil Jones, including Tuanzebe, De Gea, Ronaldo, Luke Shaw, Bissaka, so many. Who else? There's more. I even forgot. There's so many players that are running out of contract.
There's many.
Rashford.
Yeah.
That's another big conversation in the next few weeks is what do we do with Rashford's contract? And I'm saying don't give him a contract. Extend it for 1 year, see what he does, and then decide. You give the player a contract. We give player contracts too easy. We need to hold off. We think, oh my God, he's going to walk out on free. Players are taking salary cuts to go to Barca, and we're here giving players 350 just to... Man, come on, man. Let's be sensible here. Let's be sensible.
This is where we're at, Bas. But big up. Go ahead.
There's so many players in Liverpool that keep taking contract extension. Players in Europe that take contract extension and stay in their team. And Man United players and agents just want to suck up the money. Rashford's brother can go and talk to PSG, Barca. I do not care. We are Manchester United, not Rashford FC. Rashford is not our main priority. Manchester United is our main priority. If Rashford wants to leave and wants to entertain someone, see you later.
No, 100.
But why are we breaking the bank?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is that we have to now bring in a wage structure. We have to.
100%. Why are we so scared of offering a player a 5% increase? Thinking, oh my God, he's gonna. Liverpool just let Mane go. They're not breaking. They're not doing it. How much is Heung-min Son on compared to Sancho? How much is Heung-min Son on compared to Sancho? Come on, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be
less than
here.
half. Honestly, he's on about 100 something grand, and Sancho's on 200 something 20.
On what planet, Mr. Structure, is a left back called Roberto Carlos offered a 5-year deal, 150 a week with a 1-year extension, a 6-year deal for him to go on international duty, saying he wants to feel wanted? We gave you nearly a decade contract, 6 years at 150 a week. We've set up your life, and you're saying you want to feel wanted. This is what I mean. Respect is earned, not demanded.
Yeah. Listen, Vaz, like I said, people, please go check out, please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Vaz, Planet Vaz, across all social media. Check out his YouTube channel. And Tom Journalist, when we always say here on this channel, win, lose, draw, Glazers out, bankers out, because the buck always stops with them. Always with them, people. Love, light, take care. See you tomorrow with Saeed. Peace.